Todd was late, again, big surprise. He dreamed of being a personal assistant, organized, efficient, the right hand of someone important. In reality, he was lucky he could dress himself in the morning. Today was a big day. Huge. Interview at Dynamite Designs. He'd spilled coffee on his resume just reading the company name, twice. His apartment looked like a clothing bomb exploded. Finding matching socks? Mission impossible. Todd grabbed his phone, already running behind. He glanced in the mirror. Hair? A disaster. Tie? Crooked. He sighed. Today's the day, he muttered to himself. Today I become a new man. He tripped over a laundry basket on his way out the door. Maybe tomorrow. The waiting room was intimidating. Modern furniture, abstract art. Todd felt extremely out of place. He chose a chair carefully, wobbled on it, definitely not designed for a man of his, stature. He pulled out his resume again. Tried to smooth out the coffee stains. They seemed to have multiplied.
Just stay calm, he thought. Be cool, be confident.
He crossed his legs, trying to look sophisticated. His foot twitched nervously. He accidentally kicked the coffee table. Hard.
Across from him, a woman in a power suit smirked. She sipped her coffee, not a hair out of place. Todd wanted to be her, or at least have her organizational skills. He smiled weakly back, then tripped over his own feet trying to sit back down. Smooth.
He noticed the woman's shoes, designer heels. Then he looked at his own. He'd been so focused on finding a clean shirt, he'd forgotten to change shoes. He was wearing mismatched socks and his bright red beat-up sneakers, with a suit.
Subtle, Todd, he thought. Very subtle.
He tried to discreetly hide his feet under the chair. The woman raised an eyebrow. He gave her a thumbs up. She definitely thought he was crazy now. Just then, the door opened.
Todd, a voice called.
He jumped, knocking over his coffee. It spilled everywhere, of course. The woman shook her head and chuckled. He was a walking disaster zone. He grabbed his resume, now soaked and dripping, and followed the voice. This was it, his big chance. He just hoped they appreciated a good laugh. Section 4, the interview debacle. The interviewer was surprisingly nice, understanding even. He'd smiled at the sight of Todd's coffee-stained resume. Here, let me get you a new cup. Which Todd promptly spilled on himself. Classic. The questions were tough. Organization skills, time management. He mumbled his way through, each answer more disastrous than the last. He could practically see the interviewer's dreams of a competent assistant going up in smoke.
So tell me about a time you managed a project under a tight deadline.
He knew it was over. He'd bombed. He stood up to leave, extending a hand. He missed the interviewer's hand entirely, shaking thin air. He wanted to disappear. This job was light years out of his league. He turned to go, defeated. Section 5, unexpected outcome.
Wait, Todd.
Todd turned back, confused.
I've never seen anyone make such a mess of an interview.
The interviewer said, chuckling.
You're exactly what this place needs. Someone to shake things up.
Todd stood there stunned. He'd gotten the job because he was a walking disaster?
So you're serious?
He asked, unable to believe his ears. The interviewer laughed.
When can you start?
Todd walked out of the office in a daze. He'd done it. He was an assistant, a clumsy, messy, completely unqualified assistant. And somehow that's exactly what they wanted. Life was truly full of surprises. Like, share, and subscribe, please.